What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn, Dillian Whyte, and Anthony Joshua. Get this. Eddie Hearn says that Joshua versus Whyte 2 equals the third biggest fight for Anthony Joshua. Hearn says the only two fights that are biggest for Joshua than Whyte rematch and AJ versus Tyson Fury or AJ versus Deontay Wilder. Joshua Whyte would be big in the UK, but it's still a poor fight along the lines of Fury versus Chisora. Another problem with Joshua is next that it would only be big in the UK because US boxing fans view Dillian Whyte as a shot heavyweight. They're not going to eagerly purchase the fight on pay-per-view the way the British fans would. And let me counterpunch, okay? Dillian Whyte versus Anthony Joshua. It's not necessarily a small fight, but it's not a big one. Third, I don't think that would be a smart move for AJ. As far as Eddie, though, you have to take in consideration his position. His position is he's the promoter of both. He works closely with both. You know, he favors AJ over Dillian Whyte, of course, because Dillian Whyte kind of does his own thing, but he just uses Eddie Hearn to promote his fights. I get it. He prefers Eddie Hearn. He believes in Eddie Hearn. Now, that being said, that's what Eddie Hearn can provide for his stable of fighters or the people that he works with. Okay? So that's as good as he can get. I think if it took someone else or another fighter, he would have to deal with another promoter. So I believe Anthony Joshua versus Joe Joyce would be bigger than AJ versus Whyte. I could get flack for that, but I just think so. Why? Because it's a new fight. But that's my opinion, because I'm tired of seeing rematches. I'm tired of seeing the fights that we've already saw. We've already got an outcome. That's why I cringe when I do think of Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora for the third time. Just like I cringed when I found out that arbitration took place and Tyson Fury was to fight Deontay Wilder for the third time. So, you know, you're looking at these type of fights, you're like, okay, Anthony Joshua knocked out Dillian Whyte, 2015. Good fight, two undefeated fighters. And then they kind of went from there and on their own paths to whatever, right? And then, sure, they can meet back up. I get it. But then Joshua's been beaten twice back-to-back. And Dillian Whyte's been beaten once this year. And a lot of people thought he got beat again by a guy that he didn't supposed to win against. Or beat, right? Or lose against, rather, right? So it's like, I mean, what really warrants this fight? It's like people could look at this as the battle of the bastards, the battle of the losers, the battle of the, you know, the other guys. It's not a good fight for Joshua. It's just like basically whoever loses is going to, you know, move on and whoever don't. But it's a waste of time because it's like, okay, why would you pin your fighters against each other when there's other fights that you could possibly make to make their legacy better and to revive themselves versus to put these guys against each other just because you work with both. I don't think that's a good idea or a good approach because Eddie Hearn could very well deal with Salida, right, and get Otto Wallin in there. Otto Wallin is a guy that if he fights Otto Wallin and beats him, let alone stop him, then there will give then Anthony Joshua some sense of accomplishment. Why? Because that same guy, Otto Wallin, fought Tyson Fury and busted his face up and split it open in two places. Do you guys remember that? Right? So that would be better than, hey, let's do a Dillian Whyte fight. Yeah, it's okay. Not saying it wouldn't be exciting, you know, because Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 3 was very exciting. Okay, it had all the fireworks. It had the drama. It had multiple knockdowns, right? On both sides. It was that and then some. Then it had a fantastic finish. Now, who's to say that won't happen with Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte? It may. But then again, looking at that fight for right now, calling it third place, sure for Eddie, but for the whole world of boxing, like we discussed in my live yesterday, and shout out to everybody that was there, that boxing is a world sport. It's not just a territory sport. Okay, it's not just this particular location. We're going to have this domestic throwdown. Sure, that's cool, but you want to appeal to everyone. And if Eddie Hearn wants to take over the world like his, credo or his ambition and the things that he wants to accomplish is, that's not going to help him. AJ versus Dillian Whyte is going to be in the UK. Okay, no, he needs someone else. He needs someone that fought in the USA. Who did that? Otto Whyte. He needs someone that fights in the USA like Joe Joyce. Okay, so it's a lot of these guys that he could pin against, but he needs other promotional agents to do so. Okay, he needs to get with somebody else, and he needs to make that happen. But like for Eddie Hearn, though, wanting or saying that this is the third, no, I think it's a fight that he can make comfortably, and he's just trying to upsell that fight as so. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Eddie Hearn claiming that Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte 2 is the third biggest fight that could be made to Anthony Joshua. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been counterpunching. Peace!